Welcome to Mindblow, the ultimate destination for jaw-dropping content that will surprise, inspire, and entertain you every step of the way. If you love discovering the unexpected, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share with your friends to keep the excitement going. Your support helps us keep blowing minds and creating content you'll never forget. So buckle up and get ready, because this is just the beginning. On September 15, 2025, what was supposed to be a routine resupply mission to Pag-asa Island took a dramatic turn. As the Philippine convoy approached, a formidable blockade of Chinese Coast Guard vessels suddenly appeared on the horizon, their gray hulls forming an intimidating wall across the sea. The tension in the air was palpable, as both sides braced for what could become a dangerous confrontation. The Chinese Coast Guard, using loudspeakers and radio transmissions, demanded that the Philippine ships turn back immediately, insisting that the waters around Pag-asa belonged to China. Their officers gestured forcefully from the decks, making it clear they were prepared to escalate if their warnings were ignored. But this time, the Philippine convoy did not yield. With determination etched on their faces, the Filipino sailors pressed forward, refusing to be intimidated or deterred from their mission. Unbeknownst to the Chinese, a newly installed anti-ship missile battery on Pag-asa Island quietly locked onto the largest Chinese vessel. Military personnel monitored the situation closely, their fingers hovering over controls, ready to respond if the standoff escalated further. Overhead, the roar of two Fa-50 fighter jets shattered the silence. The jets swooped low over the ocean, making a powerful statement that the Philippines was prepared to defend its territory with force if necessary. For 90 agonizing minutes, the two sides faced off in a tense standoff. Navy personnel monitored every move, nerves stretched to the breaking point as the clock ticked by. Neither side was willing to back down, and the world watched anxiously, aware that a single miscalculation could spark a wider conflict. Eventually, the Chinese ships broke formation, choosing to shadow the Philippine resupply mission from a distance, rather than risk direct confrontation. The Philippine convoy pressed on, their resolve unbroken. Supplies were finally delivered to Pag-asa Island, and the Philippine flag waved proudly in the breeze. Navy officers celebrated the successful mission, knowing they had sent a clear message. The Philippines was ready and willing to defend its sovereignty, no matter the odds.
This high-stakes encounter marked a dramatic shift from years of diplomatic protests and legal challenges that China had routinely ignored. The era of relying solely on words and paperwork was over. The Philippines was now taking concrete steps to build real deterrence, preparing its navy, modernizing its defenses, and showing the world it would not be bullied into submission. The new doctrine was clear: make any hostile action too risky for China to attempt. Every move was calculated to raise the stakes for any potential aggressor. This was the beginning of a new era, one of active deterrence, not passive observation. The Philippines was no longer content to simply watch from the sidelines. The West Philippine Sea would no longer be uncontested. The world had witnessed a turning point, and the balance of power in these contested waters had begun to shift.
Pag-asa Island is more than a speck in the South China Sea. It's the heart of Philippine presence in the Spratlys. Home to 200 Filipinos, it's a living community, not just a military outpost. Its upgraded runway and facilities make it a vital base for patrols and a sanctuary for fishermen.
Pag-asa sits astride critical global shipping lanes, making its defense a matter of national security. Losing it would push the Philippines' defensive line back to its own shores. China's artificial islands nearby dwarf Pag-asa, but the Philippines' organic community stands in stark contrast to China's militarized outposts. By investing in Pag-asa, the Philippines asserts its claim and upholds international law. The island is both a front line and a symbol of resolve.
For years, the Philippines relied on diplomatic protests and legal victories, like the 2016 arbitral award to counter China. But China ignored these, escalating its gray zone tactics.
Realizing words weren't enough, the Philippines shifted to a strategy of active archipelagic defense, sea denial. The goal? Make it too dangerous for China to operate freely near key islands.
This is enshrined in the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept focusing on layered defense and early threat detection. By deploying assets that can threaten high-value targets, the Philippines changes China's risk calculus. The new game, credible force to uphold sovereign rights. The Philippines is rapidly modernizing its military capabilities, acquiring BrahMos supersonic missiles, state-of-the-art frigates, and a new fleet of fast attack craft. These acquisitions mark a significant leap forward for the country's defense forces, signaling a commitment to safeguarding its maritime interests and territorial integrity. These advanced assets help create a formidable anti-access and area denial bubble around strategic islands like Pag-asa, making it much harder for potential adversaries to operate freely in these contested waters.
The Navy now fields modern ships equipped with advanced sensors, radar, and missile systems, giving the fleet a technological edge and enhancing maritime domain awareness. Meanwhile, smaller attack boats swarm the archipelago's coasts, providing rapid response and flexible defense options against any incursion or threat.
In the air, FA-50 jets now provide credible defense and strike capability, as demonstrated during the Pag-asa standoff. These jets can quickly respond to aerial threats and support ground and naval operations. The military is also investing heavily in drones and surveillance aircraft, enabling real-time situational awareness and intelligence gathering across vast maritime zones.
International partners are playing a crucial role in accelerating this modernization, sharing expertise and resources. The US is upgrading bases, providing advanced training, and conducting joint exercises to boost interoperability and readiness. Japan supplies modern patrol vessels and cutting-edge radar systems, enhancing maritime security and early warning capabilities. Australia and other allies contribute vital equipment and technical expertise, strengthening the Philippines' overall defense posture. This international support brings not just hardware, but also vital know-how, ensuring Filipino forces can operate and maintain new systems effectively. The Philippines is building a robust defense network, not just amassing an arsenal, integrating new technologies and strategies for a coordinated response. The sea denial strategy is now becoming a reality, with Philippine forces actively patrolling and defending their waters, ready to meet any challenge.
The strategy is simple: detect, deter, defend. Detection comes first, using radar, drones, satellites, and even fishermen's reports to monitor the seas.
The National Coast Watch Center fuses this data for real-time threat tracking.
When a threat appears, deterrence kicks in. Navy or Coast Guard vessels shadow intruders, jets fly by, and missile batteries quietly go on alert. The message: we see you and we're ready.
If deterrence fails, defense is decisive: missiles, airstrikes, and naval action to repel any attack. The goal isn't to win a long war, but to make aggression too costly for China. The Philippines' new strategy is backed by a coalition of allies committed to a free and open Indo-Pacific.
The US-Philippine alliance is stronger than ever, with the Mutual Defense Treaty covering attacks in the South China Sea.
Joint exercises like Balikatan now focus on maritime defense, and US forces have rotational access to key bases.
Japan is a major partner, supplying patrol vessels and advanced radar, deepening strategic ties.
Australia, the UK, France, Germany, Canada, and South Korea all contribute training, equipment, and joint patrols.
This network sends a clear message: Chinese actions are a global concern, not just a bilateral dispute. The Philippines gains not just hardware, but diplomatic and operational support. Together, these alliances reinforce Manila's deterrence. The world is watching the West Philippine Sea. China has responded to Philippine modernization with intensified gray zone tactics, coercion below open conflict.
China's Coast Guard and maritime militia swarm Philippine features, blockade resupply, and harass fishermen.
Massive Chinese presence aims to create a new normal of control, forcing the Philippines to constantly respond.
Dangerous maneuvers, propaganda, and electronic warfare are all part of Beijing's playbook. China ignores international law, portraying Manila's defense as provocation.
China's advanced sensors and jamming test the Philippines' new capabilities.
It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. China probes for weaknesses, hoping to exhaust Philippine resolve. The struggle is as much psychological as it is physical.
Building a credible sea denial strategy is a monumental challenge for the Philippines. The country faces a complex maritime environment, with vast waters and scattered islands that are difficult to monitor and defend. The West Philippine Sea, in particular, is a flashpoint for regional tensions, making the task even more urgent and complicated. The Philippines must balance limited resources with the need to project strength and resilience in the face of growing external threats.
Sustainability is key. Modern weapons are expensive to maintain, and funding must be consistent. Without a steady flow of resources, even the most advanced equipment can quickly become obsolete or fall into disrepair. The government must prioritize defense spending, ensuring that upgrades and maintenance are not neglected. This means making tough choices and long-term commitments to keep the armed forces ready and capable.
Logistics are daunting. Defending thousands of islands requires robust supply lines and transport. Every outpost, no matter how remote, must be equipped and resupplied regularly. Weather, distance, and limited infrastructure all add to the complexity. The ability to move troops, equipment, and supplies quickly is essential for a credible defense posture, especially in times of crisis or conflict.
Human capital is just as critical. New systems demand highly trained personnel and a shift in military culture. Investing in education, training, and leadership development is vital. The armed forces must adapt to new technologies and doctrines, fostering a culture of innovation and professionalism that can meet the demands of modern warfare.
The strategy's success depends on the professionalism of Filipino service members. Their discipline, dedication, and adaptability are the backbone of national defense. Building a force that is both skilled and motivated will determine the effectiveness of any strategy.
Victory isn't defeating China in war, but upholding sovereign rights and protecting citizens at sea. The true measure of success is the ability to safeguard livelihoods, ensure freedom of navigation, and assert national interests without resorting to open conflict.
The goal is to raise the cost of aggression, making coercion a high-risk option for Beijing. By strengthening deterrence, the Philippines can discourage hostile actions and maintain stability in the region. Every step taken to improve defense capabilities sends a clear message. The nation is prepared to defend its sovereignty. Supported by allies, the Philippines is shaping a more stable security dynamic. Joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic cooperation all contribute to a stronger, more resilient defense posture. Partnerships with like-minded nations amplify the country's ability to respond to threats and uphold international law. The future of the West Philippine Sea will be decided by law, not force. International institutions and legal frameworks provide a peaceful path forward, ensuring that disputes are resolved through dialogue and justice rather than violence. The era of passive defense is over. Active deterrence is here to stay. The Philippines is embracing a new chapter, one defined by vigilance, preparedness, and a steadfast commitment to national security and regional peace.